Hey everyone, JK here with the Baseball Rebellion, bringing you video number 3 in my winter series. And this video is kind of brought to you from a question that was posted on my last video about the separation. And the question was kind of, does this require a stride? And the answer to that was no in the second video, where I was really isolating the separation in what we do. And the thing about separation is it really only happens when you go. When you commit to swinging, because you don't separate and stretch and like hold it and then try to fire it, because then once that kind of happens, if you don't kind of go within that window, that time frame of the separation, and you're not committing, then you kind of lose that elasticity and that bite to your swing, that snap to your turn that you want to have. So you have to make sure that when you're practicing it, it's kind of a quick and sudden move, unless you kind of, like I said, isolate it in the drill that I was showing, just to kind of give you a feel for what it should kind of feel like around your midsection, around your torso when you do it. So what I've done is I've gotten a decent distance away, and you have to kind of play with it a little bit depending on what you're using. If you're at home or something in the garage and you're have a wall or something like I have, but this pole right here, as you can see that I've used in all the videos, they kind of feel it. So the first two that I do are actually takes. So I'm kind of actually going through my loading process, turning in as I back and in as I start my loading process, and I'm coiling in, and then I'm basically taking this pitch. And the reason why I do that is because we should still kind of hit that back there. You can still see the dowel rod still hitting the pole, the wall behind me, because that should be happening no matter what. That scap load and that inward coil and the rotating in of the back hip to begin that coil is something that should kind of happen every single time. And whether you go or not, you're going to see a big difference. So I take one, okay, and I get to the next one, and I believe I take the next one. So it's, again, another take where I'm still pulling back, expecting to separate, expecting to go, just like on a real pitch, and then I just don't. So you don't see a ton of stretch marks or lines in my shirt because I didn't fully separate and go. And then on the next one, I gather myself again, right? So 2-0 pitch basically here, and then I get that pitch that I want, and then boom, you can really see the action change. Okay, the elbow's still pulling back, and as I pull back, I start I'm firing the hips as I continue to pull back. All right, and you can see my front pocket kind of appear to the bottom left here of your screen, and then I'm also got this still up on the wall. So you're still seeing that the end of the dowel rod still at the pole, but the difference is the amount of stretch I got now in my t-shirt. And again, I use the t-shirt as the example of the visual of the stretch, because a lot of times you can't really see it unless you're the athlete doing it, where you can feel it, or if you know what you're looking for. But for simple people who don't see stuff like this all day and every day, you can see how the elbow is still pulling back as I'm opening the hips, and that's your separation. That's where that happens. And so again, I try to get here and I hold it, and it's tough. You can see how the dowel rod wants to go. It really, really wants to go. I'm resisting turning it, right? So I'm pulling against it. I'm creating that resistance and that stretch in the go moment of the swing. So if I were, I could go from here, but for the drill's sake and for your sake, I try to hold it back, and it wants to go. And that's kind of the beauty of it all, and that's where a lot of problems lie in people's swings, or guys and girls swings, is that because they don't create this in the back, therefore their body compensates for that later on in the swing, whether it's using their arms to push, or elbow drag, or pulling the knob down with their front arm, or back arm push into the ball. Like, that's because this never really gets created, or they don't really know how to set it up. And that's why we spend so much time here at Baseball Rebellion and online in person with the setup, because without this setup where you're pulling back and you're inward, there's an inward rotation, and your posture is good and all that, you can't really create this. And if you can't create this way, again, where you see my foot on the ground, and you can see again the wrinkles here, right? If you can't create that, then your body's going to try to create bat speed at some point with something else. And if it's being created with something else, then it's not efficient, and you're not going to get the most out of your body. So I hope this illustrates with the stride what it should kind of look like. Again, I know this is not from the side view, but you can see my hips moving forward, but I'm still pulling back as I begin to turn out with my hips. And that, my friends, is where you're going to really see your bat speed increase, if you can create that. But understand, before you can create that separation, you have to start to coil in, create that fastening point to the ground, and there's where it kind of starts to come from. You can see how that starts to pull my knee and pull my heel up off the ground right there. So you can see all the things that would begin to happen into my swing if I set it up and execute that coil to separation properly. So I hope this answers the question. If not, please feel free to post again, guys, and throw some stuff at me, because I can easily make more videos for you guys with specific problems if some of our videos in the past haven't done that. So again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope everybody learned something.